Attitude Era podcast. Y'all know what it is. SmackDown just concluded. It actually concluded about 5 minutes ago, but y'all know what it is. The undisputed podcast champion of the world. Y'all know who I am, King HP. It's a pleasure to be here with you on this Friday night. Some of y'all getting ready for the fight. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna be here too long. Um, I will say this, with SmackDown and all that. In the new year, SmackDown will be going to from 2 hours to 3 hours. So I'll say that. Um, am I looking forward to it? I'm not sure. I need more. I need more. But tonight we got some action. We got some fights. We got some melees. And you know how we like melees. Yo, yeah, yeah. What up? What up? What up? What up? Baby Khaled 904. Salute, good brother. Good salute. Vinny, y'all know what it is. Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna be on too long either. You know what I'm saying? We got the fight tonight. So uh I started the title off of Is Cody Over His Head? I don't think this championship run is I do think it's better than his first one, but I think he needs a villain to solidify him. That villain is Drew McIntyre, y'all. I mean, let's just be honest. Drew, oh Lord, that turned my whole face crazy. You see that? That turned my whole face crazy. Let's not do that again. Um, I think Drew is that guy, right? Now, they had this whole segment that happened off camera, but it was caught on camera, right? Because Nick Aldis had to go to Drew's house. He had to explain to Drew why he was out of pocket. You know, I think that segment is good. I like it. However, it dawned on me it would have been kind of dope to shoot this like a Blair Witch. You see what I'm saying? Like you see the camera angles change, so we know this is well orchestrated. But I think if you're gonna do these type of segments, which I didn't think was bad, Drew is definitely the guy for this. Yeah, 100%, Baby Khaled, 100%. Drew is definitely a good nemesis for Cody, where they can swap the title back and forth. I wouldn't even swap it. I would give it to Drew and let Drew run. Let Drew run. Think about his 2024 year and let Drew go crazy. He's been talking for years how he's been screwed. Most of his championships, I think he's a 3-time champion, maybe a 4-time, right? Either of those numbers that you pick, he's only won the title in front of a live crowd once, and it was when he won at WrestleMania and then lost it with the Money in the Bank cash into Damian Priest. Out of that, he was the COVID, one of the COVID babies. So Drew can definitely carry the company, but what I would like to see going forward is if they're going to do these home segments or these off-camera segments like this. What I mean by off-camera is out of the building in another facility. Make it security-wise, so we're not getting different shots, even though that would look good. But like the camera pans on Cody, who's like, good luck, da da da, saying something, and then it cans back, and then it's like, Drew's, It's two stage for me. It's two stage to be at somebody's house and y'all wilding like that. Let it be off the ring camera. Be like, hey, we're gonna do this here. You have a security camera for real? Can we get the footage? And we can, if we're gonna go from different parts of the house, wherever that footage is, and let the whole because it has mics. We want it to be as real as possible without being, you know what I'm saying? There was a time where DX pulled up to WCW with their cameras, but it was rolling. But the funniest part is that wasn't really scripted. Like they was kind of like, yo, we out here. WCW is like, wait, who's out there? They were not don't go outside. WWE was like, hey, so you bring us that feel back. I do think the segment was good. I don't think it was bad. I just as I watch, I was like, it would be kind of dope, but you can't overdo them. You can't do them every single week. We're at somebody's house. Like, come on, bro. But yeah, give us that realistic feel. You know what I'm saying? Right. It has to have that realistic feel. You know what I'm saying? I totally think that would have been it wouldn't have looked as good production wise, but it would have felt like, oh, they were wilding. Even Drew said, my wife and stuff is home. Let us see some people on camera. Like, get in the house, get in the house. Like, oh, yo, they wilding. Remember Stone Cold and Brian Pillman with the gun? Hey, I was like, yo, hey, that was wild, right? So Drew is that guy though. Cody, Nick Aldis gave Drew some stipulations. Like, hey, you gotta apologize to the ref, which he needs to do. That is a person you saw walk up them steps. Don't think my house is haunted. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that over here. You know what I'm saying? This podcast will be done in front of a lot. Hell no, we'll be in the car. riding, But I do think that Drew needs to apologize for the ref. I thought that was reasonable. What was another thing? Can't lay a finger on Cody. Now that was said 2 times tonight. You can't lay a finger, or Cody can't lay a finger on you, right? Keyword is finger. Cody gonna find a way to get some revenge, right? Um, yeah, have the alarms go off. All that, Vinny, all that could have happened at that house and made that a little bit more real and made this like, okay, this guy, because it just, I don't want it to look too produced, overproduced, well produced, but this is not a movie. If you just follow them, I brought some camera guys here just to make sure everything is on the up and up. That's what Nick Aldis told us. So I do want to see. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Cody gonna hit him with a chair. You kept saying lay a finger on him, right? You kept saying it was said twice tonight. Draw up that paperwork. I want to see what that paperwork looks like, right? So he didn't request to not make contact. They can't have any contact, right? There cannot be any combat or stuff like that. So I think the verbiage is going to be good. I think Cody's gonna um, do something where it will give Drew a chance to complain more. The only thing I ask is please let this be where Cody loses his championship. If he does not, and he goes into Mania with it, which is a high likelihood he will. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. You see who's on the poster for 42: Triple H, aka Dana White, Paul Heyman, who's got managed 3 of the 4 people on that poster, CM Punk, Roman, Brock, and Cody. So it's very likely if he does drop that title to Drew, it's a quick change back before WrestleMania because you have a Saturday night main event in late January. You have the Royal Rumble in late January, so it's almost going to be like back to back with it. Um, January 5th is already locked for the World Heavyweight Championship. Mike, when is this match going to be? January 5th or Royal Rumble? I would have to say Royal Rumble, but there's a Saturday night main event before the Rumble, so that's why I'm like, I don't know. But I don't think January 5th. January 5th is locked for CM Punk and Braun Breaker for the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, if they go with 2 world title matches, I wouldn't be that's gonna be a Raw to tune into. That's gonna be a Raw for the ages. Whew. And then you have time to drop a title back because you have Saturday Night Main Event and Royal Rumble, and then you have Elimination Chamber all before Mania. Not limited to any of those 3. You could have more events. You could have another Saturday Night Main Event in February. I don't know. I just know you have Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, and a Saturday Night Main Event in January, February timeframe. And so that's gonna be interesting to watch. I definitely think Cody's title reign. He used the word again. His keyword is the freaking F word. Get that F word out of Cody's mouth. All right. If you want people to take Cody serious, he got to stop using the F word. You know what I mean? Like it's all the time, every own it, and it's friend Nick Aldis, my friend. I don't work for you. You work for me. Like I don't care who's friends with Cody Rhodes. They got to lose that. It's got to be. I hate it. Archie was on here talking about there's a thing we used to say about Cody will let anybody hit. When Cody couldn't one of the things was when the Ulafala and the bracelet from CM Punk was like really, really popping, Cody couldn't find challengers. He was like, oh, Carmelo Hayes is coming in the draft. I'm gonna give you a title shot. Hey, Kevin Owens, we're friends. You deserve a title shot. Hey, you're my friend. Are we gonna still be friends? Shut up. We're the guys who just want to be champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the best, and I will prove it night in, night out. So, I heard the F word come out of Cody's mouth. I did not like it. I thought that I didn't say ruined the promo. I just thought it was like, ugh. But pretty good promo cut to Nick Aldis. But SmackDown's missing a few things. And Drew McIntyre's suspension, I can't wait for him to come back. unsafe work environment. After all the things that have been played on WWF TV over the last 30 years, now it's unsafe. Direct. Cody tried to say that too, and I agree with the point. I like from the television angle though, Nick Aldis having to say, "Yeah, Cody, you proved him right because you went to his house, right?" But I definitely am with you, like unsafe work environment. Nick, Drew McIntyre is that guy at work who goes to corporate, who goes to HR. You know what I'm saying? That's Drew right now. He's that guy. He's the guy in my office, in the safety manager office, reporting violations because cats ain't got their PPE on. You know what I'm saying? He out here, you know, Drew out here with his joints on. You know what I'm saying? He out here unsafe work environment. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a I think that Drew is the ultimate antithesis to Cody. However, I do think that we need him on television. Drew is a Karen. Drew is a Karen. You know what I'm saying? So these are my glasses that I wear for work, but these are also the glasses I have to do when I have to see things that are said that are really foul. Like when people say Sting in the top 20. Make sure you tune into Wednesday Night Wars this week. We're gonna talk about where does Sting rank, is he in your top 20? The question is not, is Sting in the top 20 for me? I'm a wrestling head. I'm a wrestling fan. I think people would know that just out of hearing me talk. The question is when people get too high or too far left, or they drift, or they just hated the other company so much that they say outlandish comments like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hated Mike. I don't even have Mike as my GOAT. I have him as a top three because I think GOATs are era defined more so than all time because there are certain rules. You know, Bill Russell played in an era where the NBA still did no brothers allowed, right? So a black guy doing things on the court, no bueno. And in Boston, which is a historically racist city at that time, right? Mike, he's a scorer. They hiked his stats up the year he won Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, got it. But he didn't have to play through some of the things that older generations played through. And then he didn't like the fouls. So anyway, my point is, my man says Sting in the top 20, and we're not gonna let that ride. We are a wrestling podcast that's called the Attitude Era. So we're gonna handle business on Wednesday Night Wars. Z better have his ducks in a row. Otherwise, we're gonna turn this to a game of duck hunt. You know what I mean? Boom, we're gonna blow him out of existence. But pause on that. Blow him out of existence is crazy. Um, let's get back to Drew. All right. My hope for Drew is that Drew does go into the title picture into WrestleMania and goes against a guy that was LA Knight. That's what I'm hoping. And I hope it comes out of Cody. Pause. Comes out of Cody's. Oh man, we're wilding tonight. Um, but I think that would be good for WrestleMania. I think it'd get a good pop. I don't know if that's their best case scenario. I think that's a different PLE. I don't know if it's WrestleMania worthy, but I would tune in and I'd be very happy to see it because it's two people that deserve it. And I feel like they have been shunned by the company in some form or fashion when it comes to the main stage. Uh, but yeah, Cody, look out for the next several weeks for him. They didn't announce when that match will be. So look out for him to try to find elaborate ways to try to get at Drew McIntyre. But hopefully we don't get no more house events. But if we do, use the security cameras. You know what I mean? Uh, but that's good and well being. I do think Cody's over his head and he will lose that title. That's just me personally. And that's where my fingers are crossed. So salute to Drew, salute to Cody. But now I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, but I gotta talk about something that I heard tonight with the Julian match. And it upset me to my core, man, because mid-tier titles are a way of elevating your talent. They're a way of showing off. They're always showing off talent and keeping the product hot, right? You can only have one world champion. So by having a second tier or mid-tier title, you have another way to elevate a different set of stars that should not be your main event level stars, right? And that's why I think the mid-tier titles are so important because they're if you're looking at the collective, if you're looking through a good eye, right? Mid-tier titles represent people who used to be and can't do it no more for instance, when Ric Flair was on his downside in WWE, his career is coming to it. At one point, he was the Intercontinental Champion. Chris Jericho did the same thing when he just couldn't be the guy anymore, right? But what did he do? He's helping the younger talent get over because they're beating him for world Intercontinental titles, or in this case, it would be the U.S. because that's what we're talking about specifically. The other side is watching talent ascend, right? Then you have those guys who are staples there at that level, right? When I look at staples of the Intercontinental title, you'll see a Mr. Perfect. You'll see a Ravishing Rick Rude, right? You'll see these guys who never elevate past that title, the Rays or Ramones. They never win world titles in WWE. However, they've been in the world title picture. They've been main eventers. Hell, British Bulldog, right? He headlines SummerSlam 92, I think it is, with Bret Hart for the Intercontinental Championship in Wembley Stadium, and they tear the house down. Um, there should be 3 tiers. So D-Rec, I've said this on the pod like many moons ago because I definitely put wrestling into tiers, and that's how I think they should have it. So you don't have a thing of wrestlers who don't have nothing to do. It makes it easier to say, okay, these 8, these 10, this here, these 15, they're here. The third tier to me is always going to be the tag team because I don't want to know or a cruiserweight, right? Then that would give you a fourth tier if you do like people who weigh under this much, right? Women will be a little different. I don't think you need a cruiserweight women's division, but the tag team, they're mid tier, and then the world. 3 standard. If you do a fourth division or any other, a fourth tier will be any other isolated stipulation. So where we just said the cruiserweights, another stipulation would be like when we had the hardcore title, right? These guys compete in nothing but hardcore matches. The 24/7 title. These guys, it's on the line, right? So that would be a fourth tier. You don't want like 8 tiers, and you got the 24/7, the hardcore. You got people mixing and matching and jumping around, and it just waters down the titles. But tag, junior heavyweight. That's what they should call it, the junior heavyweight, middleweight title. One of those two. You're partnered up with TKO. Bring more validity to it. Um, if you do 6 titles max, I hope you're counting females because you did say women, so I'm assuming that's the women's side, and I'm 100% in agreement. 6 titles. My specialty title isn't bad sometimes, but you got to keep it to that, like a submission. I don't want to say a submissions belt, but like in NXT they have the Heritage Cup, and I think that is fantastic. 5 rounds of 3 because they tried it with speed, right? But speed sucks. If they just have the Heritage Cup, it works. 5 3-minute rounds, and you have to win your round. And usually you'll get the wins and things in the final. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I didn't like is speed. It's a 3-minute match, period. And the same guys who compete on the main roster that fight for 15 minutes are not fighting the same people they fight on the main roster and such. And all of a sudden they're getting wins in 3 minutes. But you get on SmackDown yeah, maybe hardcore. Maybe hardcore. Um, But I want to talk about the women's mid tier, the U.S. title. Because I was like, dang, man, what's up with the U.S. title, But I didn't really put 2 and 2 together until they said something today, and they said it. They said it 2 times. Battery saver mode is on, so this is what we're gonna do here. We don't like battery saver mode. We're gonna plug this in right here. Please don't knock this other charger out, because otherwise it's gonna get dark. Woo! All right, baby, we in business. We don't want to go dark on the squad. Um, this is what they said, right? Y'all know Chelsea Green is a champ, right? She beat Julia for that belt. Tonight, Julia had to fight Alba Fire for a shot, which whatever. They said this is Julia's first match since losing the title on November 7th. Dog, it's December 19th. You ain't fought in 5 weeks. This is why the product gets stale. 5 weeks is a dramatically long time to not even have that title in limbo. You know what I'm saying? Like you just limboed it for 5 weeks. Who did Chelsea Green go? Nobody, right? Because she's been waiting for So even if an injury happens, you're like, well, she was hurt. Well, then you need another person to step up because titles should not be in limbo. Yeah, and he said it multiple times during that match. He said November 7th. I was like, damn, it was that long ago? Because I was like, damn, man, I ain't seen him in a minute, but damn, November. You put a date to it? So you talk about 5 weeks or so, almost it's the 19th today, y'all. November 7th, you go back 7, that's 12 days plus another 30. That's 42 days. Come on, man. And that means you got you got all this TV every week. What are you doing with these people? We should see these people every week champion, like, yo, who's getting this belt? But one week we saw Jade Cargill come out and try to squash and run over even Chelsea Green too. So it's like champions should not be going at other champions unless you have a direct program for that. Because it's a clear marketing whenever you put champion versus champion. I don't care if it's a mid tier versus the world. It should always be marketed as such. Always champion versus champion. It should always, because we can't afford a champion to look weak and raggedy. Um, this is why people don't pay attention though to the women's division. It's hard to when you don't defend titles or just what I mean. Like I get it. Julia's not a draw. You probably thought she'd be better than what she was as far as what she's pulling in numbers. And you can tell Julia's not a draw because she doesn't get popped. She doesn't, no one like, you don't have her on TV for 5 weeks and no one bats an eye. But that's horrible, man. You're making a title that Chelsea, who was the original winner of that title, made good. And it's like you're burying the title. You're burying the title. You're having PLE's Saturday Night Main Event. We gotta get champions on these shows, man. That four match recipe. They used to do 5. Now it seems like they're gone down to 4. Maybe that's just for Saturday Night Main Event. You got to stop that. That's just got to be stopped. I see doing it like, hey, Saturday Night Main Event, we're gonna do four matches. PLEs, we're gonna do 6, sometimes 7. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta speed this. You gotta process this. Ronald Goldman, I think Triple H gets a lot of flack, um, but I'm kind of with you at this point. I do think they need to revamp. I'm not gonna say he's trash because when he hits a home run, they're usually grand slams, brother. They're out of the park. They're over the green wall monster in Boston. You know what I'm saying, where the Red Sox play. When he hits one, he hits one. But when he gets it bad, it's like, damn, bro, go down swinging at least, right? So, but I did think that Julia looked good in her match, beating Alba Fire, but no one expected anything different. I just thought it was a lot of filler tonight. The Mitch Chin going at Jade Cargill. I don't want to see a I think their gimmick matches will do well because Machine can look good in the ring with gimmick matches with the Jade Cargill. I think that helps Jade Cargill's matches because Jade is not very impressive. She's a strength girl, strength spots. So she's going to do those things. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's been plenty of strength spot champions in the history of WWE. You don't always need the technical wrestler like Dragunov to be your guy. It's just you got to make sure that who you put people in the ring with, if you're going to put them on a PLE, it's going to make sense. This is why we never got Hogan Flair. Hogan Flair. They said that their chemistry on the road, Vince didn't want to put that on the show. They never could have a good quality match. And that's crazy. So that's how we ended up getting Savage versus Flair and Sid Vicious versus Hogan at WrestleMania 8 when it clearly should have been Hogan, Flair. They lined us up for that at the Royal Rumble when Flair won that title at the Royal Rumble in a beef with Hogan, Sid Vicious, like, you know what I'm saying? Ric Flair pulling Hogan. Anyway, so yeah, making sure that these people are aligned to have these good matches. Where does Jay go with his title? It feels like they're just killing time. All the girls look like they're involved in the tag team picture. Nia Jax, we haven't seen Tiffany Stratton in a little bit, but Nia Jax and the Bougie Bully, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Now, out of those 4, you already got 3 world champions, former women's world champions, right? Rhea just did something with the Terror Twins, but if she's not with the Terror Twins, which is Damian Priest, she's with Io Sky, right? That's everybody but the Bougie Bully's been a world champion. The Kabuki Warriors, Kyrie Zane and Asuka. Asuka's been a world champion. Um, all your top level talent in the women's division is involved in, and then we might see Liv and Roxanne. We might see Liv and um, Big Mama Cool. I can't think of her name. Raquel and Roxanne. We don't know what combo is going to come out of the Judgment Day, but they're in the picture too. And Raquel's going for the world title right now, which is kind of upsetting the balance with Liv. But my thing is, Jade is out here with no opponent, y'all. They put all these people in the tag picture. Tag picture is hot for the women. That's the best division in WWE right now, from start to finish. You can't tell me a hotter division. However, the women's champions are like suffering. Jade is walking around beating up Miss Shin, y'all. Like, how far down to the roster did she go to find her? They use Miss Shin to get Nia Jax over as a world champion and a threat. Have some good matches. This way it makes Nia Jax, and then but you're gonna, Nia always won. Miss Shin, they use her going against B-Fab. These are not strong opponents. This is the Cody problem in his first run. You didn't put him in there with your monsters. All your monsters were protected and put in other feuds. And you gave Cody. Cody was walking around. Anyone want a shot at my title? Can't do that, bro. You want to be my friend. So, in the words of Archie Carter, Cody will let anyone hit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to see that for Jade. I think Machine is cool to warm up going into the Royal Rumble season. It's cool. It'll work. Specialty matches, though. It'll highlight both of them. And it'll be a barn burner, to be honest. And you can sneak B-Fab in there. That's where you get your strength spots. You'll do something with both women, some sort of pull press head. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Something. So it'll highlight both women because Machine gets it in. You see her with the kendo stick. She putting in work. She wrestles well. She's not like super technical, but she's technical enough to make the match competitive with Jade, where Jade is just like, she's working body parts and such. But making it a specialty match will definitely highlight both women. Um, the thing is, you got to start elevating Machine so Machine looks like a threat. It's too late now, where she's against Jade Cargill. That should have been done about October timeframe or September. So she's getting some. So she's like, hey, I think I deserve a shot. I haven't lost in the last 15 matches, 10 matches, something like that. That's all I'm gonna say. But with B-Fab in her corner, it's gonna seem like it's almost like a handicap. Jade will come out on top, and we'll see who they pull from that tag team turmoil situation with the women to go against Jade. If they don't, that may be a sign that Bianca could be coming back, and they're saving that for Mania. I don't know what the state of her injury is, but I think that if Bianca can make it back, that might be why we see Jade kind of in flux. Not really in flux, but there's no major threat to her title right now. So salute to her. I hope we get a status of Bianca because we haven't really heard nothing in a little while. So I hope everything is well with her recovery. And salute to Naomi. Let's not forget Naomi. When Naomi come back, she's gonna bust somebody's ass. So yeah, let's see how this all shapes out and shakes up. Um, but in the meantime, Carmelo Hayes, him and Ilya Dragunov getting the dubs. They getting dubs out here, and I like to see it. They took on I'm looking at their face, I can't even think of their name. Tommaso Ciampa. Uh damn, I can't even think of their names, y'all. I took a I took a sip of my favorite sippable, and my mind went blank. But yo, at the end of the day, DIY. Thank God. Jesus Christ. That was hurting. I was about to say, I don't know what I was gonna call them. Men on I don't know. I was gonna say something wild. But I do think that Carmelo Hayes needs a push. And I think maybe we're setting up for him versus Dragunov. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Um, DIY is a very entertaining tag team, a little bit on the smaller side, but right now it seems that U.S. men's title is like we're gonna give all these guys. I don't care about X, Y, and Z. If you can really wrestle and go, you can give us 20-minute matches like nothing. We're gonna put you in there with Dragon off, and I think that's what they're kind of like, kind of where they're at. Dragonov's been putting on banger matches. You know what I'm saying? So I like it. I like it. And I think they're trying to set Carmelo up. People have been cheering the last few weeks. Mello, Mello, because people are tired of people not getting over that they feel. Remember, Carmelo was the number one draft pick when they did a draft. First thing they did was put him in there with Cody Rhodes and Cody beat him. And they had a botch where they both went for like a Cody. Anyway, um, seemed like he never rebounded from that though. You were the number one pick years ago. And you know what I'm saying? Vinny, salute, good brother. Salute, salute, salute. Melo winning the US title next week. I would I won't be mad. I'll be very excited to see it. I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll do it. 5 to 10 is fine. I need 20 with Ilyanov. If Ilyanov keeps doing it, I think it could work for him. Because it's like, oh, when you see him come out, you know, hey, it's game time. Put your game face on. You pack a lunch. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be no 5 or 10 with me, not with Dragonoff. So I'm okay with it, at least for right now. The quality of his matches. So ain't no half stepping with him. Salute. Salute Aaron Teagle. Um Christmas is next month. Happy December 19th. Christmas is next month. You ready for 2020? I'm so confused. Christmas is definitely not next month, brother. Um But yeah, we're all ready for that Royal Rumble season going into it. That's one of my favorite times of the year for wrestling because it's like, all right, this is where they start like shuffling the cards and they really shuffle the deck. All right, who do we need to go into WrestleMania with? I think those things should have been decided already, and then they figure out the road how to get there, and then they can make changes, as needed. But as a fan, this is a good time to be into wrestling because you're going into WrestleMania season. You're going into the Royal Rumble. I honestly think, and Pro Wrestling 225, salute to them. Archie's not here, but they do an event. Their primary event is a Royal Rumble like event. And I almost think WWE should have it like that. Like 92, Ric Flair, they crowned a champion out of that Royal Rumble. I think they should do that again one year where um the like or something similar. Champion has a match. The Royal Rumble winner wins. And that night, they fight. They fight that night right there in a square circle. And that person will go on to WrestleMania to meet the winner of the Elimination Chamber. Or so, you know what I'm saying? Like that would be dope. Just mix it up a little bit. But Super Gold. Thank you. Thank you. It's super fire. You can definitely catch them on YouTube. Just check them out. Once you start typing in Pro Wrestling 225, it's gonna pull it right up. So, salute to everything they got going on down there. Um, fire, 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 fire events. Uh, but yeah, with WrestleMania, this is my favorite time of the year. So if you're not a wrestling fan, or you're on the fence, you're thinking about I'm gonna try to tap out. Tap out after Mania. That's what I'm gonna do. Don't hey D-Rec, don't say that around Z. Z be like, oh, what is Starcade? What is it's crazy. Um, I don't need any WWE spoilers. Anybody telling me to come into the Royal Rumble and the older women for wait, what? I just don't want to need WWE spoilers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. WWE spoilers get kind of crazy. The stuff they're saying about Jericho and stuff and all that, like sometimes you gotta just let wrestling be wrestling, and it's cool, but it's not because it takes away the pop. And I see what WWE says about everybody becomes the booker, right? And it takes away from the event. I do have a comment on the flip of that. Once you gave us Unreal, once you started putting out all the behind the scenes stuff that you do, you all it's like you gave the green light for people to be the booker and you guys to have you want us to set an expectation. And I'll tell you why. Paul Heyman one time did a promo on one of these shows he was on with Roman Reigns back when he was the wise man the wise man or whatever. Um, and he was talking about um, you know, we got to plan out for WrestleMania 43, 44, and that starts now. But then we watch on real, you're like, shh, y'all like a couple weeks out and y'all don't know what's going on. But it's not that it's him, it's that it's as a whole collective, they might not know. So um I think that that's very important to note. So I don't mind doing bookings now and being like people like, well, I don't know if yeah, nah. You gonna give it to us anyway and show us behind the scenes so I can compare my thought process to yours and then wonder, well, why the hell ain't y'all thinking like this? So but it's definitely WrestleMania. See, I know they are definitely in their bag right now. They're trying to get it right because WrestleMania is in Las Vegas and next year it's in Riyadh. So I know they want this year's to be a super success so they can play off those numbers because numbers are big in the world of professional wrestling under the TKO banner. Um, I do think that if I had to look at it from the right now perspective, some people I definitely want to see in that Rumble. I mean, everybody who's not champion, obviously, but I think I don't have a clear cut winner right now. Like, or anybody I could even see. There was rumors about Sami Zayn. That's why they wanted to use the US. Then he was sitting coincidentally front row for some reason at the John Cena last match. I didn't understand that. He was sitting with the legends. Um, I think that I think Sami Zayn would be a good pick, but I don't not this year. I don't know whenever it's gonna be a good pick for Sami Zayn. I'm gonna be honest. Um I think with WrestleMania being in Vegas and those ticket prices, you have to put a main event caliber guy in, and you have to stick the landing on this because there's too many $40,000, $30,000 tickets floating around for people to get stuff that they don't want to see. Oh yeah, well okay, well let's see if they make it great. Nah, man, if I pay $40,000, $30,000, $10,000, 5,000. I ain't trying to just be okay with what you give me. I have the right to critique. I have the right, and say, well, you didn't pay. I'm not going to. But if you'd have had like tickets is 500, tickets is 1,500. Remember, I went to WrestlePalooza. I was as close as they could get us. Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Seth Rollins' leg kicks my drink. I got the video. He's when he hit the crowd. I'll pay the bread to go. I just come on, bro. I was very SummerSlam. I was very happy with. I went both nights. WrestlePalooza though, I do feel like I got robbed. I had to call a spade a spade. It was very underwhelming. Started off with a lot of potential and it was very underwhelming. So people have the right to critique. I don't like when I see these streamers like, yeah, yeah, man, shut your ass up. For these ticket prices, you're gonna hear this opinion. But I do think again, WWE, man, they could be down, they could be down by 16 going in the fourth and end up blowing you out because they have the talent. And when they put their stuff like WrestleMania 40, I don't think anybody was unsatisfied with WrestleMania 40. I've never heard anyone say anything bad. The Rizzler is who the hell is the Rizzler? B Glass, man. Bro, I don't just believe him. I feel like it's a fact. I don't think he knows how to. I think Oba should stay his ass down in NXT. And I hate saying that because when he came up on Saturday Night Main Event, he looked like $1,000,000. That camera angle when they come out where it's up, looking up, and it's his silhouette, and it's the lights and it's the lasers. They put a little bit of the wool, like the fur, the animal fur. You know what I'm saying? I would have him decked out with a little bit more warrior. I don't want him coming out looking like Saba Simba. I don't want him coming out looking like Kamala, but I do want a little bit more warrior vibe to him. You know what I'm saying? But I think that'll come when, down the road and stuff like that. Because you tweak the character. Ain't nothing wrong with tweaking the character. You don't want him to be stale over time. But Obafemi, if you're not gonna do him right, Saturday Night Main Event, it should have never been interrupted. It should have been Cody getting distracted by Drew, Oba getting the win. He needs the win, beating your champion. There was no title on the line. We clearly saw Cody was distracted. So it's like Cody don't look weak. Cody was distracted. That's how Oba won. But Oba won. Oba won. Okay, we didn't go that way. Drew McIntyre enters the fray, caused a disqualification. Technically, Cody wins because he was attacked, so therefore he was the opposite man is disqualified. Oba goes face to face with him, pushes him to the ground, and then Cody does his attack, and then Oba gets his sloppy seconds. That shouldn't have happened. It should have said Oba with the choke slam, Cody looking like damn, and then Oba walking off. I'm not shaking hands with none of y'all. I'm walking off. He turns back around, maybe puts his title up, or he walks off with Cody's title too. That would have been hard, and then dropped his title or laid it down at the ramp, and then walked off holding up his title. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that WWE could have did, but I don't. Whatever they did, I don't think they needed Cody to look like the hero when he was a bloody mess, looking like yeah he got beat pillar to post. So salute to Oba family, but I do think they need to learn how to move and to promote their wrestling talent properly. They need to move Shawn Michaels to booking the main roster, Triple H, Road Dogg booking. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. WrestleMania wasn't bad, 40, but it definitely wasn't good. I disagree. I disagree. I think we had some bad things. Remember the Usos fighting? I think that main event on both nights made up for it. The second night was just home run. But the crazy part is I couldn't tell you what else happened. I remember Drew lost his belt. Drew lost his belt, and then he got into a CM Punk sitting ringside, and then Damian Priest cashed in. Cool with that. I can't really remember too much else. So you might be right, but time tells no lies. So since all that's been forgotten, the things that were super memorable were so memorable that makes the whole event look good. So yeah, I definitely think that was a good event. 40, I definitely have as a good event. I almost think WrestleMania should go back to one night. I think everything should go back to one night. Doing 4 matches a night and then switching it to 2 is just like you sucking my money out, bro. You you're robbing me. I'm only getting like maybe 10 matches max between 2 nights of wrestling. When other companies are putting 10 matches on, WWE used to put like 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 matches on in a night. Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. You know what I'm saying? And so hopefully they change that. Triple H said they want to go to this format a couple years back, and they've done it and they've been doing it. Hope someone says, "Hey, we got to change it back." The same way you changed SmackDown back to 3 hours. Who asked for that? Why is your show the same amount of time as your PLE? So what does that say about your PLE and what does that say about your show? If your show is the same amount of time as your PLE, why are we not getting as much content, like quality? Oh, because this is used. It should never. If you look at wrestling and how it started before they went to the Monday Night Wars, your weekly shows were not the same amount of time as your PLE because it wouldn't make sense. Just think about if I give you 3 hours, why are we going to wait till 4 weeks from now to fight? We could do. We have plenty of time. And if we don't have it tonight, we got it next week. And then, so I just think got to be more sensible in what you're doing, man. Yeah, WrestleMania used to have 12 to 15 fights in one night. We got promo package. I like the promo package. It brings the average fan in without having to watch the week by week by week by week by week stuff. I get it. Jimmy Lee Cricket, brother. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna stay too long. It's a fight tonight. Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul are fighting on Netflix. I will say this: tune into the Attitude Era podcast, hit the notification bell, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. It's all free, brother. It's all free. Don't cost much to do. So supporting the pod will definitely help out for us to do other things. We will be back Monday for the Raw recap. Also Wednesday Night Wars. This week it's is Sting in the top 20 again. It's not me asking this question, y'all. It's not really me. But because somebody was so adamant that Sting ain't, bro, he said, if we were talking about a top 50, then sure. Like, he could bear it, like, yeah, he might be like 38. Sting! If you were born, the Attitude Era ends before the Ruthless Aggression Era begins. Ruthless Aggression begins around 2002, 2003. If you're born in the late 90s, mid 90s, so you don't, if you're born in 96, you don't get to see the Monday Night Wars. You don't get to see the Attitude Era in its full capacity. Because you're like, if I was like, I started watching wrestling at 4. That's 1986. They're doing like WrestleMania 4, I think, give or take. Right. I can't remember much about WrestleMania 4. I don't have the same grasp as those who grew up and watched how Macho Man, how $1 Million Man paid for that, paid the ref off and did all that to get that belt out of that tournament. I had to go back. That was back when we had Blockbuster Video. We had to wait for the video and we get the video and like, oh, but I was still so young. And then the Mega Powers explode. I actually do remember this very vividly. That was like back then. Everybody was a generic Hogan fan. That's why when people say Hogan, nah, he can't be on Rush because we don't like what he did outside the ring. There's no doubt. But if you're just talking about pure wrestling and what he did for the sport of wrestling before the controversy, ain't nobody touch. He's the GOAT by far, by far. He can't wrestle like, and it don't even matter. This man had rock. This man was an icon beyond. That's why everyone knows he died. You know how many wrestlers that died that you don't even, we can go through a list and you be like, wait, he's so and so, Pat. Hulk Hogan is the is Hulk Hogan at one time was like Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Bo Jackson, Hulk Hogan, Madonna. You know what I'm saying? Like he's in that category. So we could talk all that other shit. Cena's a GOAT. Cena was the face of the company one of the lowest times. This just so happens that if you were born in the year 2000, you're 25 years old. Guess who you grew up watching? John Cena, right? So, no disrespect to John, but yeah, and I'm not even a Hogan fan anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I call a spade, separate the art from the artist. Sean, his body of work. Body of work kills almost anybody. Brett, same thing, body of work. Sting, body of work, longevity. Sting was the Ultimate Warrior's tag team partner in a group called the Blade Runners. How Ultimate Warrior has passed away, y'all. Like Sting just did his Sting just did a retirement tour like 2 years ago out of AEW. Was it 2 years ago? Out of AEW, and he didn't lose. They didn't have him losing on the way out. Matter of fact, he didn't lose at all. You know, Sting is definitely top 10. Deadbeat, I'm with you. Sting is definitely top 10. You can't pay me enough money to say something stupid like he ain't. Sting. Fucking crazy. I'm a smoke Z this Wednesday, y'all. I hope this man study. I'm about to text him like, make sure you have all your facts and rhymes and reason because I'm going to have my facts, my rhyme and reason, my stats, my numbers, pay-per-view numbers, ratings, t-shirt sales, all type of things, accolades. We're gonna have there's to say Sting ain't even top 20 is just, maybe you don't have him in your top 10, but god damn, bro. God damn, 20? And then you said people like Dusty Rhodes, but then you said everything in Dust outside of WWE don't count. But Dusty Rhodes' best work is outside the WWE. Surely you're not talking about Polka Dots and Sapphire. Then he said AJ Styles. AJ Styles' best work is outside the WWE. Surely you're not talking about the guy who won like 2 or 3 championships and that's it. So I don't know. Shit crazy. Shit crazy. But we're gonna put him in a casket, goddamn it, as far as with this wrestling shit. Cause that shit was uncalled for. I'm not even a Sting fan, but I will not come on, bro. I grew up like Sting, blonde haired Sting, surfer Sting. Bret Hart got the Scorpion Deathlock from him. And you said Bret Hart, like I'll take Sting over. Yeah, Cena is the marketing machine. That's a machine behind him telling you every week they're out here. You know what I'm saying? How many retirees that are not affiliated to WWE say that Cena is the guy? None. It's only during this retirement tour. I do agree with people like they're crying to see him. Sting was John Cena was a punching bag for the last 5 years. Remember earlier in the year in this retirement tour, like before it took off, Money in the Bank 2024, he announces his retirement. Then he does another speech, I think it was on Monday Night Raw on the Netflix thing. And he talks about how he hasn't won in years. You know what I'm saying? Hadn't won in years. What up? What up? What up? What up? I see you on the YouTube. Um, so you can't tell me John Cena a GOAT because we talk about a lot of those Mount Rushmores, they didn't have just times where just losing after like when I name my top 10 that were better than John Cena, I can't think of Hogan wasn't just losing all the way out the door, all the way out the door. Maybe Flair. But no, Flair didn't because remember Flair lost his last match, but Flair, he even said, if I lose again, I'm out. And he went for months without a loss. Um, who else I had in my top 10? Bret Hart. He wasn't no punching bag. AJ Styles. AJ wasn't no AJ's probably the closest to a punching bag, but AJ's the tag team champion right now. He's still not a punch. John Cena was just taking L's, bro. L. Lost to Solo Sikoa, lost to Austin Theory. Come on, bro. We ain't doing this. I'm not saying John Cena ain't up there, you know what I'm saying? John Cena is somebody you can say top 20, to be honest. Because you say ruthless, John Cena wins his first title in 2005. He debuts in 2002. He already missed the ruthless aggression there. Like he's in it, but he ain't no face. If you ain't won the world title, you can't even be considered a face. And then just because you won the world title, you still ain't the face. You still had Eddie Guerrero running around. You still had Chris Benoit running around. You had Brock Lesnar. You had Kurt Angle being the face. You had Undertaker out here doing craziness. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. What are we doing? The Rock and Stone Cold still. Chris Jericho was. Come on, bro. What are we doing? When you talk about the 2002 to 2005, John Cena's never the world champ. JBL was putting in work. Like, you weren't the face yet. Once you win your first title, you still have to win it a few. Like, before, I don't think John Cena becomes the face around that 2008 Royal Rumble ish time frame. Sometime in that frame. Maybe within a couple months before that tear. Because you still got him and Randy fighting back and forth. Triple H is still prominent. And people will rewrite history right in your face with no. This is why you gotta go back and watch and you know what I'm saying? And it's not I hate Cena, but when people are like he's the GOAT, he is the GOAT, and you just start shitting on all the other people who put in hella work. I even put Roman Reigns in there for ushering us into the Netflix era because prominent views, bro. He damn near put wrestling back to the Attitude Era. Like it or love it. When you're getting 3 million viewers on your show weekly, and then your next champion takes over Cody and he drops to 1 million, where the other 2 million motherfuckers go? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't like everybody taking off time. You know, that's the one knock against Roman. You know, he don't even have 100 defenses and was almost champion up for 4 years, 3.5 years, you know. So I get it, but if you want to talk numbers too and factor that in, Roman can get up there before John Cena. I don't know if when you talk about all time and just body of work, I don't know if it'll be higher overall. But if I do Rushmores, I'm talking about people who changed the game. This guy took us to the net. It's literally called the Netflix era. Roman Reigns brought us to that. Stone Cold Attitude Era. Hulk Hogan Golden Era. And then I just add in body of work kind of guy, then I put a Shawn Michaels in there. He's the guy everyone emulated. That's why he's everybody super kicks. Seth Rollins super kicks. Montez Ford super kicks. You know, the Uso used a super kick like a punch. You know what I'm saying? So Shawn Michaels, you know, Dolph Ziggler's whole thing was like Shawn Michaels. He became Shawn Michaels 2.0 team from Timu at one point. He even did his tights like with DZs and they were broke. Like it's crazy. So 17 times between two world titles in one company. Um I'm gonna say like this though, the Flair record is even skewed. He doesn't have, the most world championships goes to Jerry the King Lawler, right? He's got like 33 or 32. Um, so if we're looking at Flair, right? Everyone's making a big deal out of 17. My argument with Z is if none of that other shit counts, how many world championships does Flair really have? But we're not doing that. Let's give Flair his credit. Was Flair the GOAT because he had 16? I don't remember. There's people who do make that argument, but they're getting fewer and far between. Um, so I don't think that would make John Cena the GOAT. The same way people talk about LeBron taking the scoring title doesn't make him the GOAT. It just makes him the all-time leading scorer. Yeah, he's got the most championships. Man, he got reigns that don't even last a week. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, Paul and Joshua is next. Thank you, Vinny. Fuck you, Vinny. Um, I gotta pour this back into the regular glass it goes in because I don't want to break my Hall Prison Universe cup. But make sure y'all tap in Monday. We'll be back live after the Raw recap. Wednesday Night Wars. We're going head to head with Z. Who knows what type of? Oh man, I think me and Z are like Wolverine and Sabretooth, man. We just can't. You know what I'm saying? We just can't do it, bro. Um, but yeah, tap in. Bumgarner. Yeah, okay, I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. See y'all on Monday. Tap in. Y'all sitting on screen. Hall Prison Universe. Tap. Follow there. For music and music, movies, and entertainment. But anyway, see y'all on Monday. Unless something breaks in the world of professional wrestling. Until then, peace. Y'all been a great chat. See y'all Monday.